Yo, what's up? Today's game's not going our way so far. The Rangers, I even said it. I knew what I was talking. I was like, this looks so much like a trap. And what do you know? They get beat by the Tigers. They 7 hits off Joey Wentz in just 4 to third innings, unable to scrape by more than a run. Pretty frustrating. There is a glimpse of hope here, though. I bet Cleveland pretty heavy, and they actually have the bases loaded right now with 1 out. Still the 3rd inning in that one, so there's a lot of time left in the Baltimore-Cleveland game, so hopefully they can make something happen, but knowing the Guardians lineups, I don't have a ton of hope. Oh, here's Toast. Here's Toast. He made it. Yeah, we got the Angels one. That's what Toast is talking about. Yeah, we got the Angels. That was a nice plus money hit. Other than that, though, definitely not our afternoon. Hopefully Cleveland's got the bases loaded, like I said. So let's keep the fingers crossed. But anyway, we got 7 more games to get through right now. I passed on 2 of them. Actually, I think I passed on 3 now because this first one. Last night on YouTube, I said Marlins money line. I'm switching it to Marlins or pass now. I don't think I'm actually going to bet it. Just looking at the Padres' recent games, and if this team's really about to start scoring 6-7 runs per game, if they're going to start catching their stride offensively, I really just don't want to be on the other side of it. It's a lefty-lefty lineup, and a lefty-lefty pitching matchup, and both these lineups have surprisingly been pretty good against lefties. In the last 2 weeks, Miami's 7th, and the Padres are 10th. Yes, there you go, Cleveland.
Finally, a blooper that goes our way. Those two,
I know,
with two out walks and then a bloop double. I mean, with Jorge Mateo, who hasn't been hitting for shit the last week, 2 weeks, whatever. Cleveland.
We need that. We need another single right here too. You know what though? It's early and Baltimore's bullpen is gassed right now, so we're still alive in this. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if gun to my head, I would still take the Marlins. But the Padres' last 5 games, they're scoring some runs. There's only one game where they really had their offense held down. Rather than speculate, I can just pull it up. So the last 5 games, 8 runs, 5 runs, 2 runs, 7 runs, 9 runs. And if the offense is finally waking up, I just don't want to be the guy that's on the other side of that every night.
Yeah. I'm all over the Padres here today. I love the Padres. I got them on the money line at -120, and I also have a -1.5 at +130 for a full or for a half a unit. Both teams absolutely are hit left-handing pitching very well. I do think the Padres have a little bit of an advantage with Snell on the mound. I understand that his record is 1-6, but he's really only pitched horrible in one of them. He has an issue with control this year. I'll give you that, but he's still not. For as much trouble as he gets himself into, he seems to get out of it. He's only given up 3 runs or more twice. One of them was against Boston. I don't really think this Miami lineup, even with them hitting lefties as well, doesn't really profile to scare me that much. Braxton Garrett's one of my guys, but at the same time, I really think that this Padres lineup is going to start to click right now. And they're also number 7 in the MLB and WRC+. The Snell walks. The one thing I wrote it down. Miami, one of the lowest walk rates in Major League Baseball. So I don't even know if they're really going to take advantage of Snell's control issues. And then on top of the run line bet, I was looking at game logs last night, and a thing just jumped out to me. The last 15 wins for the San Diego Padres have been by 2 runs or more. They're starting to get into that Dodger Terry. Now, those 15 wins, there's been a lot of losses sprinkled in between there. But when they have won, they've won by 2 or more runs, so that's why I sprinkled that +130. I had to sprinkle a little bit on there as well.
So 15 Padres wins in a row have come by 2 runs or more.
Correct.
Interesting. Good to know.
I posted it on Twitter, the game logs. It's pretty crazy.
Cleveland got a walk, bases loaded again.
Yeah, and you're walking Miles Straw. Thank you, Austin Ball.
Yeah, Ball thank God it right now. Brewers at Toronto, and I'm on the Brew crew here. Line has moved down. I got it at +140, I think, or +145, somewhere in there. Definitely don't like it as much as I liked it last night when it was at +170, that's for sure. But it was, my reasoning last night was pretty much the same thing it is now, which is Let me pull up my notes. I should have had this open. Alek Manoah's pitching, and he's been absolutely terrible. He's not more reliable at home this year like he was last year. Certainly not yet, at least. His numbers at home are actually awful. 7.23 ERA. Here we go. Yeah, he's 0-2 with a 7.23 ERA in his 5 home starts. Toronto's 0-5 in his last 5 starts, and he hasn't been good in any of them. I don't think this guy's good at all. Down to just fade him blindly. And yeah, the Brewers lineup is so terrible. But at least they're not facing a left-handed pitcher. They're not that they're good against righties, but they're certainly not as bad against righties as they are against lefties. And listen, I don't really trust Julio Teheran pitching at all. But his first start back against the Giants, he was really good. So I keep saying over and over again every day on YouTube that I think the Toronto's lineup is overvalued right now. And I know they produced last night, but as a whole, they haven't produced in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm taking the Brewers at the big plus price.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't really have a side in this game. It's impossible to back Alek Manoah right now. I thought that maybe he would start turning it a little bit right now, but there's no way you can lay a price with them, even at home. And then with Julio Teheran, I just don't know. He's been decent. I don't mind the plus price. There's no way I could get to the Blue Jays here. I do have a player prop. I'm surprised Brandon Belt isn't in the lineup. He has really good numbers off of Teheran in his career, but Matt Chapman, 2 at-bats, 2 home runs against Julio Teheran in his career. So I did Matt Chapman over 1.5 total bases at plus 100. He's been hitting the ball well all year long. So I just took a little stab at plus money with that one.
You said Matt Chapman over
1.5 total bases at plus 100.
1.5 total bases plus 100.
I mean, if you want to get freaky with a home run, go ahead. If people are going to ask, I'm sure. But I like my total bases.
He said, look at the Brewers lineup today. It's garbage. Yeah, how is that differentiated from any other day? This lineup's terrible.
I was going to say, actually, it's actually not even really that bad. Abraham Toro in the 6th hole. Most people don't know who, but he was an Astro, went to the Mariners. He played on Team Canada for the WBC. I mean, Brian Anderson. I mean, yeah, with the injuries, that's the best lineup they're going to have out there for sure.
Yeah. All right, next game. Reds at Red Sox, and I mean, the line movement says the whole story here. We should have jumped on this last night. It's down to plus 145 for Cincinnati, but I'm not budging. Obviously, eventually Boston's going to win one, but I'm not trying to lay the juice to see it here. Very simply, in the last 8 games, Boston is 2-6, averaging just 2. Oh man, hold on, I opened up the wrong notes. I have it right here. Sorry about that. So in the last 8 games, Boston is just 2-6, averaging just 2.88 runs per game. In the last 8 games, Cincinnati's 6-2, averaging 7 runs a game. I mean, one team is hot, swinging hot bats, and the other team is cold, swinging cold bats. And I don't even know if I'd go as far to say that Boston has the pitching advantage here. I mean, sure, Luke Weaver, take it what it is. I don't trust Luke Weaver, but 2 of his last 3 starts are solid. And if you put these 2 bodies of work next to each other, Luke Weaver versus James Paxton, I don't know if you could really sell me that Paxton's much better. I mean, Cincinnati, the plus money.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I took Cincinnati team total over 4.5 at plus 100 for a half a unit because I did a couple player props as well. So that'll be my official bet for the show. But for the people that are do total bases and stuff, Nick Senzel over 1.5 total bases at plus 125. Nick Senzel really smashes left-handed pitching. Over the last month and a half, he's had 44 plate appearances with a 212 WRC plus. That's just crazy high. And then I also did a 3-way hit parlay. Yoshida, Senzel, Steer, all 3 of those guys have fantastic matchups. Parlay all together for plus 160. So those are my 3 bets. All 3 of them are plus money. They're all a half a unit. I think we see some runs here today.
All right. Well, the Reds have definitely been scoring. And yeah, I mean, it's only a matter of time before the Red Sox start hitting and scoring eventually. In fact, they almost came back. The final score, I think, was 9-8 last night. So they almost came back late last night. But they couldn't get it done. We turned that game off. We're like, oh, well, that's a win. We needed that. And then like 45 minutes later, we're like, yo, we need to turn the Red game back on. That scores 9-7, and Boston's got 2 runners on. Phillies at Mets. Metropolitans. Plus 102 was the best line you could get about 20 minutes ago. So, for the Mets, like I said on YouTube last night, if you're a betting trends guy, everything's pointing towards the Mets here. New York has owned Philadelphia in Citi Field recently, 16-8 in their last 24 home games against Philly. The Phillies has also lost 5 of their last 6 games at Citi Field where Aaron Nola starts. So the Mets have dominated in this exact spot. Phillies just don't hit for them in Citi Field. They're averaging just 1.7 runs per game in those 6. And also, if we're talking about hitting-wise, these lineups seem to be trending in opposite directions. The Mets are low-key coming back. Mets are 3rd in WRC plus versus right-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks, 10th over the last 30 days. It's not getting talked about that much, but the Mets are starting to produce again offensively. And the Phillies, who have produced against right-handed pitching this whole season, are now falling off. They're bottom 10 in the last 2 weeks against right-handed pitching. So kind of the script has flipped there with these 2 lineups against right-handed pitching. And I know Carlos Carrasco is going to be the reason a lot of people stay off the Mets here. But if you rewind to last year, Carrasco was great in Citi Field. It was on the road where he had problems, and he just came off his I know he started off this year rocky, but he just came off his best start of the season. 6 2/3 innings, allowing just 7 base runners to the Cubs. This might be a nice spot for him to show up at home where he was good last year against a struggling Phillies lineup against righties. I like the Mets here.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. I have a play, but I don't love it, but I did bet it. I took the over 9. And then I also did Pete Alonso over 1.5 total bases at plus 130. For the over, like you said, the Mets top 10 against right-handed pitching. Last time they saw Nola, they put up 5 against him. I do think that they're trending upwards. And then for Carrasco, his 2 starts at home this year have been pretty bad. 6 to Miami, 5 to Cleveland. The last time you saw Philadelphia in Citi Field, he did give up 5. He has pitched well against them before in the past. So I just think that we see a little bit of runs here today. Both these teams are more than capable. Harper had the day off yesterday, so I definitely think that he definitely can do some damage, or helps that lineup for sure that wasn't available yesterday. So that's just how I'm playing that one.
Baltimore just scored on a double.
Yeah, it's dead.
3-2 Cubs, and the Rays are about to tie it. That one goes to extras. I could sneakily cash that over. Not dead yet. Let's go to the next one. Twins at Astros. This is a pass for me. I want to back Hunter Brown, but I have this weird feeling that he's due for a bad start. His last 3 starts were against Oakland, White Sox. And we all know the White Sox can't hit righties at all. So I just feel like he's due for a bad start. And I really think Houston's going to smack Varland around. But I could also see the Twins getting to Brown, so I'm passing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I wasn't looking at the Twins on the money line. I was looking at that team total over 3.5 at minus 105 or plus 100 on some books. I haven't bet it yet. I'm thinking about it, but like you said, the teams that Hunter Brown's has faced his last 3 starts: Oakland, Clyde, Chicago. And another thing is that he's pitching a lot on the road. I know that his 2 starts in the juice box, Oakland was one of them, and then San Francisco was another one where he went 4 1/3 and gave up 2 runs. But if you remember, that was the game that the Giants came back from Mexico City the night before. The whole team had the shits. I mean, it's a true story. That's exactly what happened. I'm not saying that if they didn't have the shits, Hunter Brown would have pitched better or what have you. But they have seen him. but the Twins have seen him already this year. He did go 7 innings, but again, that start was on the road again. So I just think with the Twins trending upwards as far as their bats, it's a spot that I think that we could possibly hit an over here with the Houston bullpen that I trust, obviously. But like I said, the Twins just have a lot of power up and down that lineup. We saw Willie Castro hit a home run the other night. I'm sorry, Royce Lewis hit a home run the other night. Just another guy, Eduardo Julian's back up here. So again, I just think that the Twins is the only way to look in this spot for me.
Hey, take the mic farther away from you. I think your voice is spiking.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so let's move on to the next one. Rockies. This is another pass. I've passed on every game of this series. I have no idea how to bet this. I don't even know who the pitcher is. Lamet for Colorado. I guess he's a bullpen guy. I have no idea. No clue.
Well, let me introduce you to Landry. Okay, he was a Padre for, or I'm sorry, Dinelson. Sorry, he was a Padre for a while, and then he got swapped over to the Rockies in a trade or something like that. But when he pitched for San Diego, he was pretty damn good. I mean, I'm not trying to say that he was like some world beater or anything like that, but he has pitched well. I took the Rockies on the money line at a big plus price. I can't remember. I think it was like plus 140, 145 or something like that. It was only a half a unit play, but I know that the Rockies haven't looked fantastic on the road much of this year, but they did score 5 runs the other night here. They are scoring a ton of runs over their last 10 games, and I don't really think that Tommy Henry should be this big of a favorite. Colorado's seen him twice over the last 2 years, and they've got him for 3 runs and 4 runs. Both of them were in Colorado, but I still don't really think he should be commanding this big of a price. So Rockies have scored, I think the total is like 10, right? Something like that. Yeah, high. We expect runs to be scored. I just think that there's a little bit of value right there on the Rockies, who've been scoring a little bit of runs. So I took them at a big plus price for a half a unit.
Sounds good. I mean, I probably, if I was betting this game, I would take the Rockies before Arizona at the price. Tommy Henry. But yeah, like I said, don't even know who that guy is. And he's got a 12.66 ERA on the season. I'm sure that's like a crazy small sample size, but it's not exactly enticing. That's for sure.
No, I get it.
Yanks at Mariners. I learned my lesson last night. I'm not fading the Yankees. I don't care if it looks like the biggest trap. I got a plus 125 on DraftKings, I think. I don't care if it looks like the biggest trap ever. I don't care if the public's all over it. That was the case last night. Didn't matter. The Yankees bats have officially arrived. They're crushing the ball. Yeah, and then pitching wise, I know it looks like you got George Kirby at home against Clark Schmidt. I get it. Seattle's got the pitching advantage, but Clark Schmidt's actually put together 2 solid starts in a row. And it just, if the Yankees are hitting the ball like this, doesn't really matter, honestly. They're crushing it. We all know how good that lineup can be when Judge is hitting. He's in another world. Yankees offense, I'm not fading it. Don't care what the action does.
I'm just a stubborn old man. I took Mariners first 5 on the run line at plus 100 for 0.75 units. Look, I'm not. The Yankees are hot. There's no case about that. All I can say is that Clark, piece of Schmidt, out of his last 7 starts, only 2 have been on the road. One of them he got lit up. The other one he did all right in Cincinnati. But the Yankees had seen the other previous starters the other 2 nights with Gilbert. Oh, they hadn't seen Miller. I'm sorry, but he's a rookie. Kirby has really shown that he's a guy that you can trust. The Yankees have never seen him. And he's coming off probably the worst start of his career when he gave up 4 2/3 against Pittsburgh on 7 hits, 7 earned runs. It was all bad that night. So I think we get a bounce back spot here from him. Obviously, the Yankees have the advantage in the bats. I just think the Mariners at home, after being embarrassed for 2 nights, they're either going to come out and get to Pisha Schmidt, and Kirby's going to play well, and I'll cash my plus money bet, or the public will win again, and it is what it is. I'm a stubborn old man.
Yeah, when it comes to the Yankees, it's when they're hot, the public's going to bet them no matter what. As soon as they have one big game where they score 8 or 9 runs, everyone's going to be all over them. And if it's not going to stop them if they're hot, I've learned the hard way several times this season.
Yeah, and it wouldn't. And I'm banking on is that I know that I need this side. I know on the same side as the books on this one. I got to be, and then on top of that, I don't want anything to do with the bullpen. So if I can get 5 decent ones from Kirby, I'll take my chances. That's where I was at.
Yeah, I mean, if you forced me to bet the Mariners, that's the way I would bet them in this one. So, yeah. Parlay for this. I mean, the one I put down was just, it's kind of silly, but it was Reds money line. You know, why don't I just type it on the screen rather than have you remember it? Reds money line, Brewers money line, plus 476. I just picked a couple dogs I like, threw them together. Obviously, there's some risk involved there. Both are heavy underdogs. That's the parlay I gave out. No community parlay. This half of slate thing I don't really like. There's only 7 games we went through, so yeah. All right, thanks for joining. Tomorrow's a real light MLB game, but we have the NBA Finals tomorrow night. So we'll come back live at I'll let you know, actually, probably 11 a.m. But I'll let you know. We got to figure out. I have to do a video for the NBA tonight, so we'll see what time I get everything done. I'll tweet it out or I'll post it on here. You'll see it. Thanks, as always, for watching. Let's hopefully bounce back, cash some of these bets, and finish in the green today. We'll see. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Braves can't win in Oakland.